Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, and in today's video, man, we're going to be going over the injury report so far. It is Wednesday, so we're in that middle week where the Dallas Cowboys are starting filing to practice. So we're going to find out timeline of injuries, and we're going to be talking about what some of these reinforcements could possibly mean to the team. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. Number one news that we've gotten so far is Malik Hooker is set to miss multiple weeks with a toe injury. This one, we don't know the timeline of the injury. We just know that it's been multiple weeks and he is in a boot right now. So, I mean, that is going to suck for your secondary just because you want that veteran leadership. But this also could be a blessing in disguise for a player like Wanye Thomas, in which most Cowboy fans, including myself, have been wanting to see. We've been wanting to see him get on the field some way, somehow. And now this is one of your best ways to go see it and go figure it out, because I felt that when Wanye Thomas, just from what I saw from TV copy, I saw that once Wanye Thomas was able to come into the game, they weren't really attacking the steep like that and after Malik Hooker's injury had took place, you know? So I felt like Wanye Thomas had played a decent game. So again, he should, for sure, while Malik Hooker is out, Wanye Thomas should be making a statement as to why he should be starting and why he should not be getting spot duty reps on defense or playing or mainly on special teams. If he can stick it out and play at safety and be your starting free safety until Malik Hooker comes back, and then we put Malik Hooker at free safety and put Wanye as strong, and then we'll move around Donovan as like a big nickel type of linebacker or whatever the case might be until then. Or we can put, I don't know, you can, or put Marquise Bell, have your three safeties be Malik, Wanye, put Marquise Bell a linebacker in obvious pass coverage situations. So also we can have a better linebacker on there on third and long and third and mediums and things like that. So again, it sucks for Malik Hooker that he's going to miss multiple weeks, but it's a blessing in disguise for Wanye and this other safety group, so that's where they can rotate in and make some plays, and we can see what Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas can look like with a little bit more opportunity. Number two, we're going to be talking about Tyler Guyton. He suffered a mild concussion. That's why we saw Nate Thomas a little bit in that fourth quarter and in overtime, starting at left tackle for you. So it sucks for Tyler Guyton because, again, it's been like this so far in his entire season. That's something I've been noticing with the injuries, is that thank God it isn't we have season enders, but we have a lot of times where it was similar to last year. We didn't have a lot of season-ending injuries, but we for sure had a lot of 7-8 weeks. We had a lot of, Dak Prescott's injury was basically out for the year, but at that point we were already past the midway point of the NFL season, so he missed like maybe 4 or 5 games. So it wasn't a whole lot of injuries in which we suffered, but it was still really tough, right? So although Tyler Guyton, it seems like every single time he's taking a step forward and he's getting better as a tackle, he's getting set back with some sort of injury. If we think about what he was doing in training camp, and then it was the whole knee fracture, speculated torn ACL, and he comes back, he's able to play week 1. And then, he comes back, he's playing from week 1 all the way up to now. He suffers a mild concussion. He can possibly play this week. Again, if it's truly mild and it isn't anything detrimental, anything that we need to be precautionary about, I feel like he is going to be able to play if it's nothing serious. So again, something to monitor, but if he doesn't play, I'm not too concerned because I liked what I saw from Nate Thomas when he was filling in for Tyler Guyton. Number 3, we also saw Kevontae Turpin dealing with a foot injury. That's something that we have to monitor as well. Brian Schottenheimer was talked today because, again, after every practice and after the Dallas Cowboys do some sort of football activities, there's mainly sometimes media availability. So basically, Brian Schottenheimer had said, just paraphrasing, basically that we're beat up. And that is very true. You look at the injury report, but then not only that, if you just think about the games that the Dallas Cowboys have been playing in the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, that have been through a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of they played the most amount of football more than any other team in the NFL. I know there probably isn't a PFF stat or there's not an analytical stat to prove it, but if you just think about the games in which the Dallas Cowboys have played, they've played all the way up until the fourth quarter, and they've played overtime twice. and they played overtime up until the last seconds leading into overtime. That was Green Bay, that was New York, weeks 2 and 4, and then week 1 was basically a 5-hour game because football games are already 3 hours. And then you include the hour and a half weather delay that they had, and then ramping up to get back on the field, all the players getting ready and everything like that. That was almost a 5-hour game just opening day. And then 10 days, you got the week 2 matchup in overtime that goes down to the final seconds. Then you have Chicago who beat you down, and then you got Green Bay in which you tied, and you went all the way up until the overtime, playing an extra quarter and playing an extra 10 minutes. So you played 70 minutes twice, you know what I mean? So yes, we're going to deal with a lot of injuries. We're going to deal with a lot of nagging issues injury-wise when it comes to this team because of how much football we've been playing. But I felt like if the defense has been able to keep up, or if they've been better a little bit, I feel like we end some of these games. I feel like we probably win comfortably in Philly if we have a defense and we're able to contain Hurts. We don't go to overtime if we have a better defense against New York. If we have a better defense against Chicago, I feel like that game comes down to the wire just because of how much points they were able to put up. And again, we were dealing with injuries as well. And I felt like if we have a defense, we beat Green Bay, we don't go to overtime. But it is what it is. It's just a league, something that we have to deal with. Or not we as fans, but them mainly as a team because they're going through the physical labor. Those guys really have to go through it. So Kavonte Turpin's dealing with a foot. That's something we have to pay attention to. Kalen Carson, Jonathan Mingo's 21-day activation window has been open, meaning that they're available to practice and things of that nature. They have 21 days, meaning Dallas Cowboys have 21 days to activate these guys to the active roster. If they don't do that within the 21-day activation window, they're going to be set on IR for the rest of the year, and you can't activate them no more. So I feel like both of these will be tremendous additions to your team if you were to add them. I don't know what Kalen Carson is going to look like year 2. We are expecting him to get that year 2 leap. Last year, again, playing at a smaller school in the ACC, coming out of Wake Forest, he had to get adjusted to the NFL speed and the NFL language, and again, he had to bulk up over the offseason. So it takes a lot of those things for a lot of these younger players to get used to the NFL speed and used to the dialect and getting ready to and preparing to be a professional. It takes a lot, right? So for Kalen Carson, I feel like if you add him onto the team, can he be better than Kyer Elam? We're going to see. We're going to find out. But with Trayvon Diggs and DaRon Bland, if those two are mainly healthy and they ever get back to their forms, because again, both of our star corners are dealing with, they're coming off of injuries and significant injuries as that. You know what I mean? DaRon Bland just came off a foot injury. He comes back. He's dealing with another nagging foot injury. And then now we're dealing with, Trayvon Diggs dealing with something with his knee. Last season, he was dealing with something with his knee 3 weeks into the season of 2023. So he's still trying to come into form himself. So we're going to figure out what Kalen Carson is going to be like. Is he going to be willing to be able to tackle? They're probably going to have him play some special teams, but don't forget he was coming off a broken collarbone, or a fractured collarbone, something of that sort. So you have to pay attention to that. Jonathan Mingo, he was dealing with something with his knee. I remember he suffered it in week 2 versus the Baltimore Ravens in preseason. So I would love to have Jonathan Mingo in here because that's another 6'2", 6'3" athlete that can run a 4.40 or 4.540. And that's somebody that I feel like you can add to this wide receiver room until CeeDee Lamb gets back. And let's see what Jonathan Mingo can possibly look like as your wide receiver 3, especially the way in which this offense has been moving. I feel like Jonathan Mingo will be a willing blocker for you so we can get a lot of bigger runs from Javonte Williams or Dak Prescott when he runs, or when we give the ball to Kavonte Turpin. That would be cool to see. I want to know what he can look like down the field with an accurate quarterback, because George Pickens looked like possibly one of the best wide receivers in the league when he finally had a functioning quarterback in Dak Prescott. And then I want to know what Jonathan Mingo can possibly look like when he has a real quarterback and a real offensive scheme behind him. I want to know what can Jonathan Mingo look like again. CeeDee Lamb, so other good news, CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker, they are no longer in their boots in terms of dealing with ankle injuries. They're both starting the rehab process, which is great. I feel like, so they played, CeeDee Lamb didn't really play most of the game because that's how bad or that's how serious his ankle injury was, that he missed 3 quarters. He missed 3 quarters of football. He's going to miss his Green Bay game, or he missed it, I'm sorry. He is going to miss this upcoming game versus the New York Jets. He's probably, maybe going to miss the Carolina Panthers game. So if you really do the math, Packers these next 2 weeks, and then 3.5. So he's missed technically 3.5 weeks of football. So I mean, he possibly could be back versus Washington. And if you get CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker back by the time you play Washington, that's going to do wonders for your team, and that's going to do a lot for your offense. There's going to be a lot more explosivity, and that's going to definitely put something onto the Commanders, and that's going to put a lot more pressure on them. You get CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Booker, your offensive line gets better. Prayerfully, Tyler Guyton's able to play healthy football leading up to that game. That's going to be a very big game outside of these next two. Again, take one game at a time with how piss poor your defense has been, but we'll just worry about everything like that until we get there. Last but not least, I just wanted to make note of this. I thought it was kind of funny. But the Dallas Cowboys, they did sign Paris Campbell to the practice squad, and he's wearing number 11, formerly worn by, if we already know, Michael Parsons. So that's kind of funny how that is. But, you know, that's pretty much it in terms of injury news and updates. Of course, we're going to have some injuries. We've been playing a lot of football from weeks 1 to now. And, you know, thankfully none of them are out. Thankfully none of them have been season ending. And that now we're going to get some reinforcements like Kalen Carson, Jonathan Mingo. Don't forget, we still have potential reinforcements if they want to activate their 21-day window, like Perrion Winfrey, that can be added defensive tackle depth. You can also add foam off to this running back room. So also we have another running back to make space for Javonte Williams. Savon Revel, whenever he's ready to play. So don't forget, you have a lot of more reinforcements coming back. DeMarvin Overshawn, I'm not thinking about him to damn near Thanksgiving. That's when, around Thanksgiving, early December is when I'm thinking about DeMarvin Overshawn even being activated and being even able to play. The pettiness by the Dallas Cowboys by signing a player and giving him number 11, I thought that was funny. But and CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker, those guys are going to definitely be back, I feel like, around that Washington game. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.